That's a lot of power. Ladies and gentlemen, 2022 Porsche 911 Carrera S. This was the second, or I guess third model year of the 992, because the 992, I believe, dropped in 2020. This is the 2022 MSRP, right around $137,000 back then when the owner bought it. If you spec one out today, just because of the price increases, it's somewhere around 150 plus. Now you gotta remember, with the 992s, the non-GT3s, we still have Macpherson strut front suspension, multi-link rear. The GT3s in the 992 have the double wishbone, but not the other trims. We're powered by a twin turbocharged 3-liter flat 6, pushing out 443 horsepower, 390 pound-feet of torque when stock, but the owner has done a few choice modifications, and those include Kline exhaust with Kline Sport Cats, plus an M Engineering Stage 2 tune. We're now pushing out, the owner says, close to 600 horsepower, which is a lot of power for a car that weighs 3,400 pounds. And we've also got these nice little GT3 side skirts. Getting into the interior, the 992 generation interior, I think, is just done so well. Because apart from the piano black here, which I'm not the biggest fan of, the blend between analog and digital is just so spot on. Like the big center analog tack, very, very welcome, with the digital readout right below it, and then the digital gauges to the side. Really nice screens with great black levels, good resolution. Like, this is how you do a modern interior. We have an actual 7-speed manual transmission with the Numeric short shift kit, and not the little brawn razor to select your gears. Owner chose right. We've got the sport package, so we got Sport Chrono and PASM. And I believe with the Carrera S, it also comes standard with the LSD. First thing, if you've driven previous generation 911s, this one is larger and heavier than any that have come before. And you do feel that. You definitely feel it. This one does not have rear steer. The other 992 we drove on the channel, the 992, did have rear steer. Holy shit, that's a lot of power. First impressions, this engine, compared to the 992, definitely a lot more power, but also substantially more lag. Which makes sense, right? As you would expect. And the steering here is actually, it's not terrible. I mean, this is an electric power assist unit, right? So it's quite direct, it's quite accurate, and it's not totally devoid of feedback. You do get a little bit, but not as much as you would probably like in your sports car, and definitely not as much as something like the 997, which was the last generation to have hydraulic steering. Really nice, firm, very high resolution brakes, like all other modern Porsches, which I love, absolutely love. Pull right here. Jesus. Man, the way that thing just builds. The power delivery, you know, one thing that you worry about with turbocharged engines is that it just has a crap ton of mid-range torque and then dies off near redline. But you don't have that issue with the turbocharged engines in the 992s. Now, I did drive a Numeric short shift kit in a 991 previously, a 991 Touring actually, and I liked it there. It felt a little bit more mechanical. Here, it's almost like too slick. I think they have a really heavy weight in that you know, the ball and the shift knob, and then when you push, it overcomes that mechanical resistance. It feels like it should technically be a really great shifter, but it almost feels a little bit disconnected. It feels not quite like a sim racing rig, but more in that direction of being like technically proficient and tight and all those things, but lacking a bit of that connectedness and that mechanical feel. And I'd actually say that that kind of applies to the whole vehicle. Yeah, this thing is eager to break traction with all that power. But we are keeping traction on today. But you can see it starting to get the tail out just a little bit before traction cut in. That LSD helping to rotate the car. Definitely a welcome addition if you want to canyon carve enthusiastically, take it on the track. Definitely something that you want. And we've been driving in normal mode this whole time. We're now going to be in sport. Let's engage passive too. I do very much appreciate the throttle response. They keep that very natural and linear, even with the turbocharged engine. So if you want a heel toe downshift, not an issue. But man, this thing is just so fast. Getting a little burbling in sport mode. Now in Sport Plus. Where we don't get the burbles. So this car does not have rear steer as an option, and the 992 did. And there are quite a few differences in the driving experience. First of all, the 992 I actually enjoyed more. It felt more fun to me. It's a little bit lighter weight. I mean, it had the OEM shifter, which I really enjoyed as well. But something about the way it handled, I was able to get the tail loose in both of these on those really low speed second gear corners, but something felt a little bit more connected there. And the turn in, I'm not sure how much of that is weight and how much of that is rear steer. The turn in felt a little bit sharper on that vehicle than on this one, and I'm guessing a big part of that is going to be due to the rear steer. All right, let's do a pull. We're going to go easy on the clutch though. Jesus. Wow. Okay. All right. Honestly, like, it's just too much power. More power isn't always better, because now you introduce lag. You have so much power that it doesn't become as usable on road. So now mid-corner, when you're trying to get the tail out, the power kind of comes in a surge with that lag, and then it kicks the tail, and you can't really dance with the car as effectively. The 992 is very technically proficient. Like, if you were to say, is it a good sports car? Some could argue, yes, it's actually a fantastic sports car, because You know, the steering is this way, the transmission, the engine, the power delivery, the handling dynamics, all those things are fantastic. And with each generation, they make it feel less and less rear engine too. So you know, part of that is the character, but part of that is having to drive around the engine layout and the weight distribution. But being a sports car isn't just about the technical proficiencies. It's also about how it makes you feel, the connectedness, the rawness. And the 992 in this S form, the T, for whatever reason, felt a little bit more connected to me. It felt a little bit more fun. And this is like, to me, a larger step in the GT direction. It's insanely fast, but I don't want to dance with the car with all that turbo lag, with all that power. You know, the steering has a little bit of feedback. The transmission, I think I probably would prefer the OEM, honestly. And I mean, it sounds great. It sounds great. The engine pulls super hard. The interior is amazing. I think the car looks great. But yeah, actually a little bit surprised that I found such a difference between the S and the T. But my friends, tell me, what am I getting wrong? What am I missing? What do you think of the 992 Carrera S? Big thanks to Suki, the owner, for letting me review his amazing car. Big thanks to Fenton Sun from the Zygreen YouTube channel for making this review possible. And if you want your car reviewed, visit us on jabalandcars.com. Fill out the form on the homepage. Much love, and I'll see you all in that next one.